Whew. Come on. What the fuck is going on here? It is. There it is. I don't know. Let's. Is it working now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Because that was all profound.
Oh,
you
man.
guys missed something
missed
so
it.
profound. Really, really.
Oh my goodness.
But no, we were kind of covering the event today. We're a little tired. Day started fast. We ended up at a private event. Trump hosted here in Las Vegas, where our podcast mate Michaelah was a speaker, and she did quite well, actually.
She always does well. She has a personality that just everybody around that woman is just attracted and like absorbed into her energy. She just carries that kind of energy that you can't ignore.
No.
And I mean, she knows it too. So Trump has actually taken a liking to her, and the entire team surrounding him loves Michaelah as well. Yeah. I mean, she just has that energy. She's got it. She is her.
She just but asks, "Hey, can I speak?" And they're like, "Yes, come on, yes, please."
Yeah, and she's got it. She's built for the moment, and this is her moment. It's not going to be like a 15 minutes of fame. I mean, she's got depth to her. I've had some conversations behind the scenes, and I mean, she's going places, and so are we. Like, so I was sitting back and trying to reevaluate what the Patriots Prayer podcast, what my goals are. and with the Patriots Prayer podcast and everything. And it's weird that I've come this far already, and that Eddie and I have helped build a network of Patriots, and it's growing rapidly, and I can really see us going very far. I can see us being great one day, because I believe in the people that we've supported and found. And I mean, man, I am excited to see what the future holds, but I know that I have to put the work in now in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
So Eddie and I mean, we've been working relentlessly. Are we high? No, we're not high.
Tired.
Yeah.
Extremely tired.
Thaddeus's Q-tip. From what? He's asking if we remember him. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, I remember Thaddeus. He's been in our lives before many times. Actually, even in I think you DM'd a while back as well. Yeah.
AJ, by blood I'm Swinomish, by culture, tribe of patriots. Because that's what I'm building, and I feel way more kinship with my fellow patriots, and this has been consistent around the country because I've traveled more this year than I ever have in my entire life.
Like in a short period of time.
Yes,
too. That's the
so
thing.
From February to now, I've traveled more than I have from February to when I was born. This has been a wild year for me, and
it's going to get even more so. I mean,
yeah,
guys, we're talking to people about getting studios, and it's a little bit like when you start to think about like really where it's going from here, and the opportunities that actually lie in front of us. It's a little daunting because it's a big responsibility, and it's going extremely fast. People are taking notice. We're in the conversation, even with some of the biggest names that are on, social media. Well, and that's to me, that sense of accomplishment is on one side. It's honoring. I mean, you feel humble by that kind of a response, but at the same time, guys, it's
going to DM.
Yeah, it's big. It's big, and it's a large responsibility at the same time, and it's just something that we've worked very hard for, and to see it come to pass, it's gratifying.
I'll tell you what as well. After the 2020 government lockdowns, and I've told this many times, so just entertain me if you've heard this before. I woke up at that point when I realized that the government was locking people down and that people were willingly closing down their businesses and going into bankruptcy because the government said so.
Yeah.
It broke my heart to see so many men that I respected bend their knee to the mandates and considered themselves unessential.
Yeah.
If you put food on your table, you are essential. Absolutely. The government deeming you unessential is sickening. And it also bugged me that people blame Trump for this, because you have to understand the opposition to the mandates has to come from us, not from the top down. This has to come from the bottom up. And so I heard a calling from deep within my soul that a lot of the men I seen bend their knees, and it broke my heart. And I knew at that moment that I needed to start doing something. Yeah. That if I could be the spark to light that fire in you, to stand up against these tyrannical mandates, because there will be more. Yeah. There definitely will be more. And in fact, there are a lot of tyrannical mandates happening every day with these laws that Congress passes.
NY 213 is rule NY 213 is one of the worst ones I ever heard. And it's already there. And they're just, it's a hammer over the head of people in New York that they can bring down anytime they want to. And they're not exercising now, but they can.
That's the problem, is it's backwards. our representatives are supposed to represent us, not control us. That's the difference. The mindset of Americans have changed. And I don't know when that was. Maybe it's been this way for a very long time. But the America I was raised to believe in is that the people had control and that our representatives were there only to represent our sentiment.
Yeah.
And if we don't stop that and speak out against it, then of course we're going to go down the road of tyranny.
Sure are.
So yes, I felt a calling and I started speaking up. Not at that exact moment. I started a YouTube channel shortly after that. I made a couple of funny videos. Well, not funny, but I made a couple of videos and it didn't feel like the right pathway to go down because I wasn't ready for that yet. And when I heard Elon Musk was buying X, that's when I created an X account, started speaking out last year. And somehow or another, I've gotten to 121,000 followers. I met Eddie and we started building this Patriots Prayer Network. And all of a sudden, I'm in the same room with the president. And one of our podcast hosts is now buddy with Donald Trump. This doesn't happen by chance.
No.
This has happened because we're supposed to be here. I believe that the fact that I answered that call, and you guys have the same calling. You have to understand. You just have to listen to it. That calling from deep within your soul, you have to answer it and you have to act upon it. Otherwise, you will stay in the same rut that you've been in. And it's not going to be the same exact thing. Like, this is a route I never thought I would go. I'm from a small town, 2,500 people. I change industrial tires for a living. I feel like I never would have imagined being in this position today. I never would have imagined myself being included with the press in the same room as Donald Trump.
We were standing right next to Fox News behind CNN. CNN was there. And oh my God, did they get on CNN? I got some video of them shouting CNN down pretty hard.
But it's only because I listened to that calling and I started following what I felt I was supposed to be doing. And it's not because of money. Like we don't make much money from this. We do this because we have a passion for it. This is something we do outside of our money-making jobs.
Yeah, I'm so upside down on this. It ain't even funny.
My gosh. Yeah. Think about this. Okay. I'm out of vacation days, been out of vacation days. I have no more sick days because of the time I took to do things like this. I lost 2 days of work. That means all of my overtime is gone. That means that I lost at least 20 hours, maybe more. And I paid last second plane tickets to get here. Every cent I've made from X has been invested right back into this. And I'm taking chances because I feel that this is necessary. We have to go this far. We have to do this. I feel compelled to speak out and to try to reach out to as many patriots as I can.
Yeah.
And if we can build connections with patriots across the country, we're going to do it. And that's why we have 11 podcast hosts now on the Patriots Prayer.
Yeah. And more to come.
There's a mission, guys, and and you guys are part of it. And we're going to be building up. This is just the beginning. So, I have a feeling that we're going to be great one day.
I don't know what's getting ready to happen. This is how I come out. I really don't know what's getting ready to happen, but I can tell you from day one, all of the things that have happened have not been because I've made all the right business decisions and that sort of thing. I just talked to the people that God put it on my heart to speak with, and things just started to happen. Phone just started ringing the other way. People we just got all the right introductions, and it all just kind of lined up. I'm watching TV one day with my wife, and she goes, "Hey, did you see Michaelah on the news?" And I'm like, "No." And I didn't realize that was Michaelah in the clip we had used previously in our podcast. I didn't know this is the little girl who used to sleep on my couch, hang with my daughter. I used to go see her in school plays and this sort of thing. So the stars were aligning in a way that no one could have ever foresaw. And it was too perfect and too coincidental for the time that we're in, for what we're doing. And it's just undeniably, no doubt, God, and we're where we're supposed to be, doing what we're supposed to be doing. And then came Damon Galdo, introduces us to Ann Fundner and Madeline Brain. So now we have both of the other women who gave speeches at the RNC,
who believe in the same mission.
Yeah,
this is the thing. This is how we're going to
every one of us just completely mission driven. Everyone.
This is how we're going to beat the mainstream media. This is how we're going to change the culture in this country, is by gathering a network of patriots. That's why it's called the Patriots Prayer Network, because it's not about Eddie and I. It never has been and never will be. This is about creating a network of patriots. You know what conservatives have lacked for a very long time? Networking.
Yeah.
We failed miserably with being able to connect to each other. And I understand why, because you want to be left alone.
Yeah, you just live your life and do what you're supposed to do. Go to work, come home, raise a family. And meanwhile, all the time that the left has, because they don't have any of those cares, or they don't have, that kind of priorities.
AJ asked how we feel about Elon.
They're out there training people, talking to people, saying things to them, and building a grassroots movement around us. And we were slipping in the process, and we gotten this far. But to answer the question about Elon, I think what Elon did is as historic as anything that has ever happened in U.S. history. And I don't think it won't be until we get on the other side of this, and the scum that's in the media, that run all the social media networks, that run NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, and the like, are finally exposed, that you'll see the true size of the monster that Elon was truly fighting when he bought Twitter. The things that he exposed were never supposed to be exposed. But believe me, they're going on everywhere else as well. So just take a look at what happened when Elon bought Twitter. All of the back channel with the former FBI agents like Jim Baker, all those guys there, taking the president's account offline because Michelle Obama said so, talking to 50 NGOs and government agencies per week, testified to. That's happening everywhere, guys.
You guys got to understand that all that can be revealed has not been revealed from X, and that's coming in time. There's a time and place for it, because right now conservatives are not in control of the justice system.
No.
They're not in control of the military. They're not in control of the executive branch. I mean,
a lot less so in the military than what they used to be, because everybody with any kind of backbone and said they wouldn't take the jab got dishonorably discharged.
But that's going to change. Trump said that he's going to bring them back with back pay.
They should
get all
their back pay.
Understand this. Once Trump wins, Elon's going to release a lot more information. And it will be, if we have control, there will be prosecutions, and it will change this country. There has to be. That's the thing, is we have to demand this.
Leslie.
Remember, the control comes from the bottom up. It's not from the top down. Our country is a constitutional republic.
Yeah, that's what it's intended to be. I mean, that's what it started out as. What's up, my growing nation? My buddy Leslie over there. James, how you guys doing? I know we were this is an impromptu thing. We had a lot going on today, and we wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit to you guys. I want to play some interviews and other content as well that we took while we were there. So take a look at some of these guys. This one right here is, you're going to see Trump, and he's talking to Michaelah as he's at the podium. They had shared a nice little moment there, and some weirdos online took it completely somewhere else. You can imagine once you hear the clip, and we'll come back and we'll talk about that very thing. And we're going to expose the guy who said it. Hold on.
And you love me, and I love you too. I do actually. But it was like instant chemistry, right? It was beautiful.
You can go first on this.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
They didn't know I was coming. You know, we do that surprise. I guess we do that for certain reasons, like security and things. We don't want to broadcast it too much. But I walked in, and she grabbed me, and I grabbed her. But I saved her college.
So, this is classic Donald Trump speak, right? Everyone has heard him in the past. I mean, I'm assuming, especially if you're watching this channel, I'm assuming you have heard Donald Trump's vernacular, know his mannerisms.
Can we share this post on the screen?
Yeah, I can bring it up over here. So, this is a very innocent exchange, and it's not unlike the exchange they had when we were in Atlanta, and people said the same exact stupid things then as well. The left reaches in the moments when they are trying to make a point and don't have anything else to say, and they try to make something out of nothing, like a little small innocent exchange like that. They try to change into some moment of perversion. But when Joe Biden is talking about little kids rubbing his leg hair and he's smelling little girls, they're extremely quiet. I mean, it's crickets. When you actually have a moment of improper behavior from a president, and then you have an innocent moment like that, and they ignore one in place of the other, like Trump's failing with morality behind the Stormy Daniels stuff. Hold up, wait. But you're ignoring Ashley Biden's diary? Come on, guys. This is really stupid. And just the left excels at stupid.
I sent it to your DMs.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull up. You can see what we're referring to here. This guy's an idiot here. Give me a second.
So I really wanted to speak about this because I get this all the time. It is almost daily, in fact.
So they should be seeing it. I don't see it on the screen, but I'm assuming they do. Guys, are you able to see right now what I'm sharing on the monitor?
This is the first time we've used Rumble Studio.
Yeah, this is the first time we're using Rumble Studio, so we want to make sure.
Nope.
Oh, okay, you're not seeing it. All right, here we go. It's over here. There, that's the layout. Okay. Perfect. We're getting this down, guys.
So here it is in that clip. And this is very, very common with the left. And it's kind of what I talked about earlier today on X, where this guy, Jason, he says Trump's behavior at his Las Vegas event is concerning. All within a matter of a few minutes, he goes on about his chemistry between a woman behind him and how she grabbed him and he grabbed her. And he basically goes on in these 3 threads. Well, I don't need to highlight him too much. He's got almost no following. But this is a very, very common theme I see from the left. Basically, what he's insinuating is that his interactions with Michaelah is inappropriate. And that's what he wants to insinuate.
Yep.
Because the left doesn't see minorities as equals. The left sees minorities as props, as tools to get what they want. So in this particular case, where Trump actually has a genuine friendship between him and Michaelah, this a bond that spontaneously happened, they want to use that relationship to further their own agenda. And they say that you can't possibly be an equal because you're not, because Trump doesn't see you as an equal. He sees you as a tool. And this is the consistency I've seen from the left for the entirety of the time I've been on X, is that they always say that I am a tool, that I am an Uncle Tonto. They call me lots of names. You know what I get from MAGA, from the supposed racists and the white supremacists? I get called brother. I get called patriot. I get called, all the good names you can think of. That's what I'm called by fellow MAGA patriots of this country. And by the left, I've heard that there should be there should be another trail of tears, that I'm an apple. It goes on and on and on because they do not see us as equals. The only ones that see us as equals and treat us as equals is the right in today's culture. The left does not see you as an equal, and they never will. Because they're so twisted in their mind that all the racism that I get is from the left, and it is very consistent, and it's displayed perfectly within this tweet. It's perfect in how they see a black person up with Trump and they go, oh, that black person must be a tool. They must be being used because they can't possibly be an equal to the white man Trump.
Isn't that the same thing they do when they try to say that voter ID would be biased against black people because not all black people have ID.
Yes, it is the exact same thing.
This is ridiculous.
It is the bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah.
They do not see us as equals.
It's true.
This drives me absolutely
It's
crazy.
true.
So I hope this Jason guy gets what's coming to him and people actually see this tweet.
Yeah.
And maybe we can use this as an example of the exact racism of the left. This is what they always do. And I'm sorry, Jason, that you're the guy, but you said it. And you should have consequences for it. I'm not saying that they should call your job and say cancel this guy because he's a racist.
Please
but
don't do that. Even if anybody knew who he was, don't do that.
This guy should know that what he said is incredibly stupid.
That's about it, right? I mean, listen, what do you expect out of a guy whose screen name is at Karmic Wave Rider, right? So, listen,
screw that guy.
And it's, you know what it really proves to me? What it makes me realize, you know, Elon needs to make one improvement to Twitter. We need like a thumbs down button.
No, it's coming.
I want a thumbs down button.
It's coming.
I want that.
Right. Doge, one of the big accounts, they announced that they're bringing out a dislike button here soon.
Yeah.
So
maybe like an upside down heart, right?
It's a broken heart.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
And it needs to be something like that. We need to be able to because you know, you find yourself liking something just to unlike it, just so you can unlike the damn thing. You know, it's wild. I've been banned by some pretty big accounts. People have blocked me. Keith Olbermann blocked me. There have been a few.
Keith Olbermann blocked.
Yeah,
that guy's a lunatic.
Keith Olbermann
he is
blocked me.
Legitimately crazy.
Yeah, all the way. I mean, he's so crazy they fired him from MSNBC. that's how crazy you got to be to get fired from MSNBC.
I got to tell you guys something, because I've been feeling a little not great about my X page lately. I've been on 5 weeks of consistently like plummeting numbers.
Yeah, I mean, just even this right now, we would typically have somewhere around 2,000+ people.
We were getting between 2,000 and 5,000 on every live stream.
Single live, and now all of a sudden that is modified a bit, which is why we're telling people, guys, if you're watching this on X, please go over to Rumble.
But today, I felt like a reassurance of that I'm supposed to be here, and I'm on the right path. I don't know if you guys have ever felt that moment in your life where when it seems to just fall in place and you get that reassurance, like, okay, we can go through down to like the mission I'm on is not about impressions on X. I want to find good patriots that want to share this message. So if you believe in what I do and what Eddie and I are building in the Patriots Prayer Network, yeah, we need to get better at self-promotion and saying, please share it. Please hit the like button. Please do these things.
Luckily, we do got some great people who do that for us.
Thank you, McGraw Nation.
Yeah, for real. We got some great people who do that for us. You know,
it makes a big difference.
So, guys, we were able to talk to Michaelah a bit. We actually went and had lunch with her after the event. Trump was going to take her to Arizona with him. So he literally offered Michaelah to come with him to Arizona as he was walking out. You saw the press started hitting up Donald Trump immediately with questions. And he stopped cold and turned back around and talked to him for what, another 10 minutes? Something like that?
Yeah. Okay.
And he answered every single question from every single one. Reporter did try briefly, albeit briefly, to say something slick. And the crowd, man, was so protective of Donald Trump. And it wasn't even a big crowd. There was one particular lady that I would have sicked on anyone there. And you heard her. You didn't much see her, but oh my God, you heard her through the whole place. She had something to say every time anyone opened their mouth. She was a wild one. But we were able to talk to her after that. She didn't go with Donald Trump, which I thought was crazy. We could have picked her stuff up from the hotel. You should have went. You should have went. It would have been amazing. You would have been right there on that stage with RFK. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Hey,
I don't want to get
Thaddeus.
caught up in that. But
So Thaddeus said, try to get on left-leaning networks, open the audience up. We've tried. They have no interest in us. They don't want this smoke. They literally can't handle.
offer it to everybody.
They cannot handle a Native American patriot such as myself. They want the Native American like Lakota Boy on X or Lakota Man 1. That's his handle.
Yeah.
But I call him Lakota Boy because he's a shill.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that he embodies the spirit of
He
Native
said
American at
all
all.
people should turn their guns in.
Yes.
Like, what kind of Native American thing is that to say? Like, turn your guns in? Are you nuts?
If there's anybody who should be distrusting of the government, it's Native Americans.
I mean,
and
come
for
on.
some reason, the reservations are shills for left-wing governments that want gun control. They followed all the mandates during the COVID experience. That was one of the things that really, really pissed me off about all the tribes, is that they were just as bad at forcing the tyrannical mandates on their own people on the reservations. And they're supposed to be, on the reservations, they're supposed to be independent. But they don't act like it because they want that federal grant money. It's sickening.
Yeah.
So they don't want this kind of Native American patriot. They can't handle it. CNN, MSNBC, all the left wing, all of them could not handle what I have to say.
We contacted them all during the Holding Our Method thing, too. And none of them responded.
Nope, because I know all of their talking points because I watch them, but they don't know what I'm about to say. They can't understand it because of their closed little worldview. And what they do is they create a caricature of MAGA and right-wing Trump supporters that they can punch on in front of their own crowd. That's why at the DNC, when they talk about Trump, they bring up all these old debunked nonsense talking points like very fine people on both sides.
Yeah.
It has literally been debunked by Snopes, and they still bring it up.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Because there's people that they're talking to are so unresearched, they still believe it. They still think that that's reality because they don't change the station.
Yeah.
Because they're so locked in their mind to their agenda and to the left and what they say. If you even say that you heard something on Fox, they immediately dismiss it. Let me tell you, I'm no fan of CNN. I'm no fan of even the Cuomos, but, if everyone heard Chris Cuomo talk about how the both sides kowtow to these rich demographic that they have, I can completely agree with that. I can dislike somebody and still give them their druthers. If they're correct when they say something and they're telling the truth, I'm okay with that. And I think we all should be. So I don't want to get caught up on one side of politics so much so that my perspective becomes so skewed that I can't see the evil in my own midst as well. I want to make sure that I'm able to tell the difference between what's right and wrong and what's right and left, because either side can be synonymous with what's wrong.
See, Thaddeus, I'm not sure if I call shit down the middle. Like one of the main points that I bring up is that I'm a free-thinking patriot. That means that I don't subscribe to being a Republican or Democrat. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because once you subscribe to that as your personality and bring that on, that sets you into this tribalistic mentality that wants you to cheer for the Republicans and demonize the Democrats. Now, although as of late, I have been demonizing the Democrats and cheering on some Republicans, I am not one of them. Yeah. And I never will be. Because I'm just a regular patriot of this country, and I want to look out for the people. And the people are not being represented by the Republican Party, and they haven't for a long time. For a very long time.
Not as a whole. Right?
No, Eddie and I were talking about this just last night. When was the last time that people had a representative in the presidency that actually represented the people? Because if you think about this, right, Biden definitely doesn't represent the sentiment of the people. Nope. That is all the special interests and the warmongers. Okay, Trump, he had 4 short years, and he had a lot of traitors. So
he as spent far a lot of time as fighting legal cases instead of running the damn country. And
zero new wars
more than they did.
Zero new wars. That's the biggest thing that you guys need to understand. No new wars.
3.4% unemployment.
Yep. Before that, Obama, we all know about Obama. Mm-hmm. He stoked racial tensions for money.
And he got rid of
started wars.
The Smith-Mundt Act turned the news media into propaganda artists. and they legally were able to get away with it. This is why CNN could sit down, the technical producer could sit down with James O'Keefe, not knowing it was James O'Keefe, and be recorded saying that they knew the Russia stuff was a hoax, but they didn't want Donald Trump to win the presidency, one. And two, it was good ratings. So they continued to run the lie, even though they knew it was the lie, and they still kept their FCC license.
Before that, it was Bush. You really think Bush is on your side?
Bush is Obama. He's
Hell
just the
no.
white version of Obama.
They run in the same circles.
Yes, they do.
They are the same.
Didn't you say
kinds of
Bush was
people.
going to speak at the DNC?
That was rumored, but he wasn't. But he's buddy with Obama.
I can completely
and
believe
Oprah
that, though.
And
I
all of them.
completely believe that.
Yeah, he is not a Republican representative, or you know what? Actually, he is. That is the Republican establishment, the uniparty that has been screwing over the American people. Before that, Clinton. We all know about Clinton. Okay. Before that, Bush again.
Hold up. Does everyone actually know about Clinton? His story's wild. His story's wild. His story actually has dead children in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild, guys. I mean, like sex parties, cocaine parties, cocaine dealing on a very large, massive scale. His brother Roger took the rap for him, and he pardoned his brother Roger at the end of his term. Just firing the entire White House staff, bringing in only their friends, referring to state troopers as pigs, teaching their children to do the same. Just it's really crazy. Like it's nuts.
Well, we can do an episode on that.
It is a lot to know. Like
Captain Wetbeard asked, why are none of the GOP commenting on the Trump RFK merger? You know why? It's because they don't understand it. Because they literally can't fathom, like, oh my gosh, a Democrat just endorsed Trump.
Before we go into that, I promise you, because I got so much to say about that. I really do. I promise you, I got a ton to say about that. But I wanted to save it because I wanted to get finished with the other part.
Okay.
Because once we get down that hole, it's no coming back. Right. So I want to play an interview that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The interview.
I want to play the interview that we did with Michaelah outside of the place we were leaving. And I'll talk to you guys right after this. At the Trump event, you spoke.
Yes.
But you got a little bit of private time with Trump. What was that like? What was going on? What do you think?
Uncle Donnie wanted me to go to Arizona, but we ran over time, so there wasn't enough time to set it up so that I could hop in the motorcade and hop on the plane. But that just means that next time I'm gonna have that real exclusive.
Yeah.
That's all I know. But then I will have the opportunity to not just ask him, but maybe I can get 5 minutes out of him while we're going somewhere. Who knows? But it was just God. He was in completely different spirits today. He just seemed so much calmer and he was just so. He's just really excited. I don't know if it has to do with the endorsement. I don't know if it has to do with the polls. I don't know if he knows that everybody saw the DNC as a joke, so he clearly has it in the bag. I don't know, but today, just his whole aura was different. I loved it, and then the fact that I got to see him in my hometown, I got to come home. Dope, legendary.
What did you think of it, Maurice?
I loved it. I loved every second of it, and she was right. He did have an aura about him, and
it was orange. You saw
I,
it?
I think it's really because he.
But I still want to see the extra.
RFK had the endorsement, and he's a winner, and he knows that he's going to win. So, but we got to make that happen, guys. Make sure go out, vote on November 5th. VoteForAmerica.org. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you have a plan to get others to register to vote, and let's make this too big to rig.
See, it's like this, guys. Everybody knows one person who didn't vote. We challenge you to find 4 more and get them to find one person each that hadn't voted. And that's how we win this fight. VoteForAmerica.org, guys.
Vote for America.
Hold a second. Wait. Oh.
There it is. So there it is. I'm getting a little better with this damn app. What am I looking to do? Oh, the X one?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm trying to get it so Eddie can show me on his huge setup here so I can see all the comments. I read it. Where'd it go? Comments disappeared.
It's over here. Oh, where's your live?
Okay.
I got to give it a second, I guess.
All right.
I thought we had it up already somewhere, though.
It is. It's right to the left. Right. Up,
Yeah.
up, right there. Oh, never mind. I don't know.
No, it ain't. It'll eventually work.
Maybe.
We're having a little bit of problem today, but listen, it was a great time. And you've seen that. It's crazy. You would think it would be a bigger splash than what it is when some of these things happen that we get to be a part of. And that's why we said, like, sooner or later, like, the content is not reaching as far as it possibly could, for sure. And it's crazy that an account that's doing the things that we're doing is not just kicking the door down. It's nuts. But I mean, don't get me wrong. We're still doing good. We're still doing very good. But you just think, man, the access that we have, the content we don't actually, I didn't release it all. There will be more stuff that'll come on the X page. I'll start putting it out on the locals as well, guys. And it's humbling though, dude. Like I just said earlier, it's really crazy to see some of these things happen. Now,
I wanted to highlight something as well.
Yeah.
With Trump going to so this wasn't today. The mainstream media highlighted his rally in Atlanta, or in Arizona, Glendale, because that's where most of the people saw it. But what he did today was he highlighted this little restaurant here in Las Vegas from an immigrant, a legal immigrant, that built a business up. He started working as a dishwasher, opened his own restaurant. Now he has 5. He highlighted that owner in that speech. This is something the mainstream media skips over all the time. The little things that Trump does for the people, like that.
Actually, I have a video of the owner.
Yeah, that owner is. I mean, how much more could you ask from a presidential candidate and former president? The little things that Trump does for the people aren't reported by the mainstream. And this is one of the reasons that frustrates me so much about it.
So here's the owner. I'm going to share my screen, and you'll be able to see it here in a second. Is that it now? That it now. But if I do that, can you share audio? There. So here it is. Now you'll be able to hear it.
We know that if Donald Trump gets elected, he's the right person to help those businesses to do better and better. I first came to the United States in late 70s, beginning of 80s, when Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan was the president. And you know what? I miss those days. And I want to ask, and I want Donald Trump, and I want to beg him, please do America great again.
I see. You know what? You guys realize what he just said there? He said he came to America in the late 70s. And you know what? He misses those days. Because America used to be a lot less racist than it is today. And it's mostly due to this leftist ideology, this toxic, woke crap that they've injected into our culture that has destroyed the relations between races. Instead of us just being Americans, because when he came over, he was an American, started as a dishwasher, opened his own business, and then made 5 more. Now he owns 5 restaurants. Legally immigrated. That's a beautiful thing. That was the beauty of America. That was the American dream that has been destroyed now. And you can look and see just by the Democrats' actions. They opened the border, let all these people in. And then at the DNC rally, I can't remember the guy who did it. Eddie showed me the video. I posted it earlier on X today. The guy decided to take an illegal immigrant, try to get him into the DNC so we could thank him. Guess what happened? You need an ID. No, they're creating a serf class because they see these immigrants as lesser and they don't want them to thrive. You know, the only way to get these immigrants to thrive is to let them assimilate, to let them actually legally immigrate into this country. That's how you allow them to thrive. I'm sorry, but we are outnumbered in this world. America cannot host all of the impoverished people in the world. We cannot do it. It is impossible. We will turn into an impoverished nation if we try to do that. That's what America used to be. Now, the Democrats want a serf class that they can use to get votes because they give them scraps. It's disgusting. And they want to force us by inflation to be forced down into that very same serf class. They want us to own nothing, and they expect us to be happy. We're not doing it.
Yep. And like it. You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. Remember that? Remember those words? Well, 15-minute cities and all of the things that I think that the conspiracy theorists used to talk about in the late 90s, early 2000s, and everyone dismissed as crazy. It's all true. Like, there are literally FEMA camps. Our government literally conspired during COVID. They lied to you. They lied to me. They shut the world down unnecessarily. They lied about being engaged in gain of function research. They lied about the efficacy of masks. They lied about the efficacy of the vaccine. They lied. I mean, I think that we all know that they lied, but I mean, you got to ask more questions than that. If they lied, that means they had a conversation. They had a meeting. People were there. This meeting, they decided this is what they were going to tell us. This is what they were going to do. Some high-ranking government officials got together and decided to purposely pull the wool over your eyes to have the desired effect. And their desired effect was shutting the world down, was decreasing, the amount of jobs available, shutting the mom and pops down, causing the chaos that took place. That whole summer of love, do you not think that was fueled by the propaganda they were pushing intentionally, which means they wanted that outcome? And if they wanted that outcome, what else are they capable of? Shooting the guy trying to run for president against them? That happened. What has to happen finally to wake you up? What has to finally happen in order to get you to wake up? I don't know why my camera just flipped, but we're going to undo that.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. But I mean, and that's a real question, guys. I mean, what finally has to happen to wake you up to the fact that these guys are evil? And I'm not saying, I'm being so literal. I'm not putting that, it's not a euphemism. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm telling you, these people are evil. They planned on hurting you. They planned on you losing your lives. They planned on riots in the streets. They know the lies they're telling you, and they're telling them to you anyway. So you gotta see these people for who they are.
James says, wait. Are you saying the government lies?
Yes. Yes. I just got a text from Donald Trump, and he says he needs my help. So
hey, I got that same text. I don't know how I keep getting put on these lists.
Oh my God!
And whether it's from I got the Obamas talking to me now. Yeah. They're reaching out to me saying, "Hey, we need your support for democracy and some bullshit." Every time I just respond with either "F you, commie" or "Stop." But somehow they keep getting my number.
We were at lunch with Michaelah, and it was funny because it was Michaelah, and I don't want to say the other people's names because I don't know if they want their names said, but it was a few of us, and we were all out to a lunch, dinner, if that's a thing, Linner. I know brunch is a thing, but no one ever says Linner. And Linner is what we had. Anyway, we're sitting there, and we have some kind of conversation kicking off. And I said, yeah, we're enemies of democracy. Like, no, I'm being legitimate. And they're like, what?
We are the biggest threat to democracy.
What are you saying? I'm like, no, like, we're being honest with you. We're enemies of democracy. And I said, listen, the reason I'm saying this is because we're a republic. We have laws that govern us, not a majority. No majority is able to make the minority live under a tyranny just because they have the popular vote. This is why we set our government up the way that we did. This is why we have a constitution, and there are rules for amending that constitution. And so we have a representative government, and we're all individuals. So mob rule is never going to be what you want, because it's too easy to fool people into thinking the majority of people want this because the news says so, movies say so, music says so.
We got to understand the enemy we're up against has trillions of dollars,
tons of resources.
You guys, this is why we're making the Patriots Prayer Network, because unless we have a network, we will get overwhelmed by their propaganda, by their influence on culture. They will win if we are complacent. If we sit back and we say we would just want to be left alone. It's like, yeah, you want to be left alone, but Ruby Ridge will prove otherwise, that you can never be left alone.
Shit, right out here, the Bundy Ranch.
The Bundy Ranch, yes.
The Bundy Ranch will prove. And that's what happens when people stand up to the evil. What happened to Clive Bundy's brother, it's sad. It's sad. They went out there, the militia went out there to protect the people in that house from becoming the next Ruby Ridge style victims. And let's not forget the Branch Davidians are in that same exact conversation with Timothy McVeigh and all that, because although people may not have agreed with what Timothy McVeigh believed as his religion of choice and the things that he espoused, but the sequence of events for the learned person who actually studied what took place in Waco will tell you that the social services people and whatnot went into the Branch Davidians complex in the weeks before. He opened the door, walked them through, showed them all of his guns, showed them all the programs that the children was involved in, this, that, and he opened his doors. He was completely forthcoming with them, the same way Trump was about the files he had in Mar-a-Lago. But in the same thing that happened to Trump happened to the Branch Davidians as well. But they stood their ground, and thus a lot of people died.
They didn't have a network, though. That's the problem.
And guys, this is what we need to organize.
Stand.
We need to organize, guys.
Well, we're going to make a very similar stand. The next time they order these tyrannical dictates from up on high, we have to, as a country, from the bottom up, make that stand and be able to hold our ground without having one ranch. We need a million ranches.
And be willing to accept no matter, you got to basically go into that kind of a fight because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's something much bigger than any one person. With the idea that you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to stand up against that which is wrong and accept whatever happens to you, because the calling to do such a thing has to be bigger. It has to come from God, right? And that's kind of how I feel about it.
So yes,
that's why I'm not backing down.
We are definitely the Democrats are right about this. We are the biggest threat to democracy in all of the world. Because we are a constitutional republic and we want to be free men. We want to elect our representatives to represent us.
Yeah.
We want to have our God-given rights recognized and protected by those representatives, because we all know that mankind, the institutions that we create, do not overpower our God-given rights. We know our God-given rights.
Farmer Boy just made a good point. So in the Battle of Blair Mountain in West Virginia, the coal miners out there, and I got a heart for the coal miners because my grandfather was a coal miner, and he actually died of something they call black lung. These guys are a class of just fearless people. I'm claustrophobic as hell. You're not going to get me down there. But yeah, they stood up against the government.
You're right, Thaddeus. This convo can go deep. How far does one or a group go to fight back? Well, if you're just by yourself, it's difficult to.
You're signing up to lose.
Well, also, you may have a righteous cause and you may have every reason to stand for what you believe in.
But you got to be smarter than that, though.
No, but the media is going to paint you as a demon. The media will paint you as the enemy.
You got to be willing to accept that.
This is why we have to overcome that media. This is why we have to build that network first, so we can get the story out when that does happen, because it will happen. So we have to be able to tell the truth about what patriots stand for. And so when they make their stand, it actually means something. And the media doesn't have the entire narrative on what they can paint that person as. Look at Marvin Heemeyer. I believe that's his name. That guy was ruined by the government.
Guys, if you're in the Rumble, smash that like button for us, guys. Give us a hand here. Smash that like button, like and share as well.
We are peaceful, and that's the thing. You know, I've had a lot of conversations about people who fantasize about civil war in a certain way and who are like almost itching for it. And I'm always incredibly hesitant to get on that side because I know for a fact that if there ever was a hot civil war, there's going to be so much destruction and chaos that we cannot compute. I know my grandma, my mom, my aunts.
What emerges out of the other side will never be the America that it was.
Nope.
No matter what.
You don't know where that road takes us. So right now what we're doing is we're building a network just so we can stay in communication, just so we can seek out the truth and speak it, just so we can have confidence to be able to support other patriots around this country.
Nothing we do is done out of hate. It's all love. That's the reason why we do it.
And it's not always going to be a firefight that we're like supporting or trying to find the truth on. It could be something as simple as, or like Holden Armenta going to the Super Bowl. Look at it. Like, you guys remember this. I've talked about him quite a bit lately. Remember Holden Armenta, who was targeted by the mainstream media as a racist and appropriating culture? I mean, it's something this simple. His family stood up for him. And it was unique because his family didn't back down. His family was strong, and they stood up against all of the calls at their work and them being doxxed. And I mean, they suffered through all that to stand up for their son. And it was beautiful. And I wanted to highlight that as much as I possibly could because I want to see more of that. I want to see people be able to stand up against it, whether it be societal tyranny or governmental tyranny.
Or
we
medical,
have to
or even medical
against
tyranny.
it. Medical tyranny as well. Exactly. Yes, we have to do this. Yeah. And it has to come from the bottom up. And we're building that network, or at least we're starting to build the network. And it's going to happen. And it has to happen. Otherwise, you guys, we will lose this country. We are up against a multi-trillion-dollar machine.
You guys see
that
the
wants
movies?
to convince you that you are weak and powerless. You are not.
If you guys have ever seen the movies, you see what they can do with CGI. Right? Everyone has seen what they can do. The graphics are amazing. AI copying people's voices, studying people's reactions to colors, to stimuli, to different. They know all these little things, and they use them. They use them on you in the news, in the media. They use them. If they can effectively make you think something is going on in Hollywood, it's no different than what they're doing on your local news and how they present the information and withhold certain information while giving you other information or suppressing one story and elevating another, all in an effort to manipulate you.
That's why they want to make this fight between Kamala and Trump feel equal. That's why they didn't highlight the fact that
it's
Trump
not about those two people, though. That's the thing, though. It's really not about the people, those two. It's about everyone who's on behind either one. Yeah. It's more about those people than it is about Trump. Just represents us.
Well, that's why they're not going to highlight the owner of that restaurant. No. Trump will. The media won't. No. Because they want the fight to be between what happened at the DNC and what happened at Trump's rally today. Mm-hmm. That's what they want the fight to be. They don't want to highlight the owner, that legal immigrant who came over and had the American dream happen for him. And then eventually 50 years later or 40 years later, after he comes to America, has the former president visit his restaurant and highlight his story as the American dream, because that's what it was and that's what it should be. And we should be focusing on that instead of the lemmings cheering at the DNC and the Patriots cheering at Trump's rally right now. That's not the battle.
No.
The media will never understand that.
Well, they have an assignment.
But I want to try to highlight it.
They have an assignment. Their assignment is whatever is on their agenda. Do you not think it's funny that they were all saying that J.D. Vance was weird all at the same time? Every news network, every local news network, every national news network, all in just synchronized, saying that
Joy.
we're weird, and or yeah, the other thing is the strength through joy, the old Nazi rhetoric that they dug up and now they're using themselves. It's pretty the likeness between the actual Nazi party and the left of today, and Marxism and the left of today, and the true fascists and the left of today. Take a look at each one of the tenets of each one of those styles of government, and you can see there's a big correlation. There's a big correlation.
We got to save that for the podcast. Yeah. Hold back some content. We're good. We're good on that. We got a lot to
but
go
no,
over on Monday.
Before this ends, I do want to talk about RFK. That's what just happened. So let me start by saying I don't like the guy, but I appreciate what he did, if that makes sense to you. I don't like him. I don't like the idea of reparations. I don't like the idea of $22 gallon gas. I don't like the idea of creating legislation based around the climate that would jail people who didn't comply. I don't like the late-term abortions. I don't like those things that he says. But I do like the way he goes at the medical community. I like when he tells the truth about what's happening in the Ukraine and Russia, and his stance on what actually took place with his own father in his own life, and tells the story from that perspective that's very true. That should be eye-opening for anyone who listens. But I don't, as a politician, especially, I'd be scared to death of an RFK presidency. And I was a little taken aback by the way Trump welcomed him in the way he did.
Trump always does that, though. Look,
he did that to Kim Jong-un.
It's the same exact way he always does. He goes, "Wow, this guy's great. He's beautiful. Everybody loves him."
And he didn't need that little push in them swing states. It helps. It helps. RFK taking that center vote, that middle of the aisle vote, that independent that didn't quite vibe with the Democrat Party or more libertarian in nature, whatever the case may be. By RFK dropping out, especially in those swing states where he took his name off the ballot and endorsing Trump, believe me, there are some leftists tonight that are very, very pissed off about that, because they were barely winning in those states, like margins of like 0.2%. And now Trump is obviously polling way higher in those particular states as a result. So they're mad.
That she brings up a good point. She says that's a New York thing. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's true. Do keep your friends closer, your enemies closer. He had some flattering things to say about him. Look, I can say this. I like a lot of people that I don't agree with on everything. It just, I don't agree with Trump bringing this guy that close. I don't. But, I still appreciate RFK dropping out.
RFK had a lot of good things to say about the COVID mandates.
I appreciate the endorsement. I mean, he's said some, like I said, when it comes to medical stuff and all that, he really knows his stuff. You can't win a debate with him on vaccine efficacy and how it relates to kids that may have autism today that didn't before, and how they don't do the blind studies, and he breaks out all the literature and he knows all the laws, and he talks like he knows this stuff. He knows it. But then he goes off and he talks about late-term abortions. And
okay, yeah, I have a serious problem with that. But he's not going to be in charge of that. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
but he is.
You crack the door.
This is bringing in a new audience. Okay, so this is a good thing. This is exactly what was it Thaddeus was talking about earlier about bringing in that other audience. Okay, we're not accepted at the other table because the mainstream media paints us as radicals and extremists. An evil white supremacist, the big scary racist of the country, the biggest threat to democracy of all time.
Constitutionalist.
But RFK helps bring in those reasonable people to have a conversation with us. And you know what? I would love to have a conversation with an abortion enthusiast or like an advocate, not enthusiast.
I would like to believe that not everybody who believes in abortion also believes in everything else that the left believes in. At least that's a step in the right direction.
Ronnie, I want to unite with reasonable people. I cannot unite with commies that want 9-month abortions, that want kids to be sterilized through gender affirming care
or mutilated,
sterilized, hormonally permanently hormonally damaged for the rest of their life, becoming permanent big pharma patients forever and miserable human beings. There's more than
Their
one way
life
to kill a man.
expectancies are lowered. And, you know, they're never going to pass their genes on to anyone else. I'm not sure if that's such a bad thing.
I want
I'll be honest
unity with righteous people, with patriots. That's what I want unity with. I'll pray for my enemies, but I will not.
Isn't that what this is, though? When we talk about fighting abortion and trying, they are literally being walked into the gas chamber by the Pied Piper, and they're hearing his tune, and they're under the spell of the left, and they're walking themselves right into disaster. And we're screaming loud because essentially we're saying, stop. There's a car coming. We are the help. They demonize us for it all the while. We're fighting for them, and they don't even realize it. And they're killing themselves, and they're killing our country at the same time. If we were really the evil people that they believe that we are, or they say that we are, we would tell them, go kill your babies, because you're just going to be the one raising them, and there'll be more liberals, and there'll be more people like you who you think we don't like. Why would we be fighting to bring more people into the world raised by people that we already don't agree with? Because there's a moral imperative that supersedes our political beliefs. It's the belief in life, that God is
Human
the
rights.
arbiter of who lives and who dies, not men. So when they say we don't like them, that we don't love them, that we're full of hate and disgust and intolerance, it's actually them. Because all the time they're hating us, we're yelling louder. And the people that it affects, if they actually listen, is the very people who say we hate them. And it makes no sense.
It is not love to tell a man that he's a woman. That is a lie.
Yeah.
And you cannot love somebody if you lie to them like that. It is not love to tell a child that the best option for them is to get sterilized or to have their genitals cut off.
Yeah.
That is a lie. These people don't love. They're not compassionate. It is not a lie to tell everybody in the world that they can come through our border because America can support you. That's a lie. We can't. We cannot support the rest of the world.
No.
We are 300 million strong, but there is
All you'll end up doing is making
what-
all people live in
how-
poverty.
8 billion people in the world, like 7.8, 8 billion,
Something like that.
something crazy. We cannot house all the poor. We can't do it. It is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
That's like trying to take in the entire neighborhood into your house and saying it's a free-for-all. And not only that, having an open border in general is facilitating human trafficking into
Which
known
is-
sex slave rings, into known
The governments of many of these
sweatshops.
countries that we're talking about are emptying their insane asylums and their prisons and sending those people here, telling them, just like Donald Trump said today, they're telling them, if you come back, we're going to kill you. And they're sending them into the United States.
You know, I feel like maybe I'm just overly confident in my beliefs. But I believe that my abortion argument, my stance on life is so strong that it has never been debunked. I've never had anybody tear it apart and say that I'm wrong.
And
Nobody.
They're not going to.
I don't believe it can be. There's no...
If they were just honest, they would just say, yes, we don't want the baby. We're killing the baby. We're completely selfish and we don't care. That would be at least honest.
That's the only way. But I mean, I challenge... I said this on the last episode. I'll say it again. I challenge any abortion advocate or pro-choice advocate. Any. I don't care if you have...
James, where'd you get that number from? Where'd you get that number from, James, that 300,000? Because I've heard 800,000. That's the number that's touted most of the time. And I know 86,000 was the amount of missing children that came over the border at last count that they released to the public. But where's the 300,000 come in at? I'm just asking because I want to know. I want to know more about that subject.
My abortion argument got... I mean, I posted several times on X, and there's many people who follow me strictly because of it. And all of the arguments that I've ever heard are they fall flat. And so I would love to have a real debate with someone, but I can't because they don't accept me at the table. And I'm not saying that I deserve a right at every table at MSNBC or CNN or any of those outlets. But I would like my message to spread, and I know that the reason you guys are here following me, I mean, one of the reasons is because you believe in the message that I'm saying. And I believe that my abortion argument is bulletproof. I don't see any way around it, and nobody ever has been able to puncture holes in it. So good luck. Find me a worthy opponent. Please. I would love to have a conversation with an abortion advocate. But they just don't talk to me, because once they see my argument, they run. All of them have. Every single one. It's annoying.
So Maurice and I were at the event today. I saw there was only a few people there. There seemed to be more press there, except for like on one side of the room. But we ran into the head of the Nevada GOP. And here he is right here. Let me see if I can get this up. Here it is.
It's there. It's just tiny.
There he is.
Tiny little picture.
There it is. So that is Michaelah
I don't know if they can hear you because we're off the screen.
No, they can hear me.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You positive?
Very positive.
100%.
100%. So yeah, that's Michael McDonald with Maurice and myself. We ran into Stavros Anthony. We are actually. I was told that we'd get an interview with Stavros Anthony. We were hanging out with his chief of staff for a little bit. I want to say thank you to the reporter at Reuters that let me charge my phone so I could stream the event. My phone almost died at the event, and we were standing. We were actually in the press box. We actually walked up where everybody sets up all the news and everybody.
They all had their badges, their press badges. We didn't. We just walked up there like we should be there.
I wear my little business jacket, and I fit in them crowds.
I had a collared shirt with buttons
with no sleeves.
I fit right in.
With no sleeves on at all, with cowboy boots on the dais. Right? I'm not making this up.
Nobody noticed. I snuck right in.
No one gave a shit. I mean, yeah, honest with you. I mean, listen, we got some really good pictures out of it. I think we got a lot of other footage out of it. And guys, listen, the other thing I wanted to bring up is not this Monday, but next Monday, Ann Fundner, you heard her give her speech at the DNC.
RNC.
I don't know why I got the DNC. I got the DNC on my brain. We've been talking about it so much.
I want to eat dinner.
But yeah, she gave it an amazing speech, and her podcast is going to be called the American Mom Podcast. We shared the thumbnail with everyone, and that's coming next Monday. Look out for that. She'll be on right before Maurice and myself go on.
AJ? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait.
No, I looked up to see what he said.
He said, "Dude, I'm on you." So is that a? Just DM me, AJ.
All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here. We got pizza and wings like sitting inches from us, and we hadn't eaten yet for a while. So we're gonna get off of here. It's great hanging out with you. I will be doing weekend podcasts from here on out, kind of like a weekend review thing. We do have a sports podcast coming for the weekend as well. We're setting that up, and a cooking show, Chef KR, that's coming too. There's a lot of stuff happening, guys, and we just appreciate every one of you to come take the time to hang out with us. And the network is growing, and it's because of you. It's you. It's not us. It's you. It's your network. We do what you want us to. We fight the same fight you do. And we're going to continue to fight that fight. So, guys, we just appreciate the love quite a bit. So we will see you on Monday. Monday. We'll see you on Monday. There. As usual, the silent majority, you need to stop being silent. Stand your ground. See you next Monday. Guys, have a good one.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
Soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.